Well, hey there, and welcome to yet another lesson in the church video series, and today we are talking about depth of field and bokeh. The depth of field definition is this: the amount to which all objects in your shot, the foreground, midground, and background, are in focus at once. Here is what shallow depth of field looks like. A shallow depth of field is when only a single plane of your frame is in focus. And here is what a deep depth of field looks like. A deep depth of field is when many or all of the objects and planes in your frame are in focus at once. Depth of field is controlled by the focal distance and the aperture of your lens, and so closer focusing and larger apertures are what you want if you want to get some nice, shallow depth of field. The reason depth of field is important and desirable are for two reasons. The first reason that depth of field is important is because it allows you, the filmmaker, to show your audience what is important and what is not important. One of the primary philosophies I have in making videos is that you get to show your audience what you want them to see. You have a story and a message that you want to share, and it's your job to only do things that are going to contribute to that final story and final message. And it's also your job to eliminate any distractions and deterrents that are going to take away from that message. And one of the fundamental ways to accomplish this is by using depth of field. Let's say I'm on the street and I'm filming someone and I'm interviewing them. I want to focus on them and nothing else because I want the audience to know that they're important, what they're saying is important, their dialogue is important, and I don't want anything else to distract from that. Using depth of field allows you to focus on what's important and to unfocus on what is unimportant. And by doing this, you immediately let your audience know what they need to be focusing on and what is important to the story. The second reason the depth of field is important is because of the visual effect. Shallow depth of field is just so beautiful. It's soft, it's smooth, and it's sexy. One of the great qualities of depth of field is bokeh. Bokeh refers to the portions of an image that are out of focus, only the out of focus parts. Taking it a step further, when some of the out of focus portions of your image are lights, they turn into what is called bokeh balls. When lights are out of focus, they turn into these smooth, large circles of beauty. Aren't those just pretty? Now you know why depth of field is such a big deal, and you know how to use it better to tell better stories. Remember, to achieve a nice shallow depth of field, think about the focal distance between you and your subject. Also, think about the distance between your subject and the background objects in comparison to your subject. The other thing is, make sure to stop down to get that nice large aperture, and you'll be well on your way to some beautiful looking bokeh. Well, that's all for me in this lesson of the church video series on bokeh and depth of field. Of course, if you want to learn more about church video and church media, make sure you become a subscriber at prochurchtools.com. It's absolutely free, and you get a bunch of free resources the moment you subscribe. I'll see you guys next week.